as much as Tesla is a car company, it is, I think, for many investors, really an Elon Musk company. It's a way to bet on what they see as the singular genius of this guy. And as you said, over the last few years, it's gotten harder to see that. There have been challenges, and I think obviously the biggest challenge is this relationship with Donald Trump, where you had, in December, Elon Musk, helps get Trump elected and then is in this position of extreme influence, probably more influence than almost any, executive ever. And you had this kind of Trump trade where people were bidding up the stock based on the idea that Elon Musk was going to be able to get all of these policies that were going to help his companies. His companies, of course, very, very much enmeshed with the government and heavily regulated. And then we're seeing that in reverse. We're seeing what happens when you have a business and a bunch of businesses, in fact, that are heavily regulated, and you're in a fight with the most powerful person in the world, and Donald Trump. So that's the sort of state of play. And heading into these earnings, Tesla is reporting earnings, I believe, on Wednesday. The challenges that a lot of people have bet on this company have already sort of the futuristic stuff is kind of already priced in. And so he's almost at a point now where he's got to start delivering. And we haven't seen that yet, but maybe we will in the months that come.
You say in the article that really stood out to me, you say he is rich on paper, but he is cash poor. So kind of explain that to us, dig into that.
Yeah, I mean, part of this has to do with the fact that he's always making these big bets, but when you look at his wealth, it is mostly in Tesla stock and options. And he's running this empire, which, obviously includes Tesla. It also includes SpaceX. He's got a lot of SpaceX stock as well. Neither of those companies, he's able to borrow money against his positions in these companies. And we have seen sort of company A buy equity in company B, that sort of thing. But there isn't just like a huge pile of cash, and he has all these things he's trying to do. There's really only one company in the portfolio that is reliably profitable, and that's Tesla. And then you have SpaceX, which of course has a lot of promise and has a dominant position in the launch market, but is not necessarily throwing off cash. And so you have this empire that is very large, but where different companies are supplying things to other Elon Musk companies. And I'd say the most obvious example of that is this XAI investment round, which is already, Elon Musk has already said SpaceX is putting $2 billion in. He's also indicated he's going to try to get Tesla to put $5 billion into XAI. And this is a company that is burning, $1 billion a month. Now, this is the kind of thing that for any other executive, it's like a conflict of interest on top of a conflict of interest. On the other hand, Elon Musk has this fan base that has so far been willing to kind of go along with things that no other investors in any other company would ever go along with.
Is there any reason to believe that the feud, to whatever degree it is at the moment, between President Trump and Elon will de-escalate?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that's possible, partly because both Trump and Musk, obviously they're both famously kind of alpha, very tough, but they also both, they forgive. Like people have made this observation about Donald Trump that, although there are a handful of people that are sort of permanently outside of the circle of trust with Trump, people fall in and out of love with Donald Trump, and he is able to kind of look past feuds. Elon Musk is the same way, and there is a mutual interest here. As I said, Trump kind of needs Musk because Musk was the most important financial backer for Republicans during the 2024 cycle. He could very well be the most important backer in the 2026 cycle, and I'd say that Musk kind of needs Trump, both from a branding perspective, from the fact that, like, once you've alienated the entire universe of Democratic voters, which Musk kind of has done, then what do you have left? You have basically the Republicans, and you don't really want to be on the outs with Donald Trump as a cultural force. And then on top of that, you have the sort of regulatory issues. Self-driving, which is what Tesla is betting its future on, is a regulated industry. Rockets, government contractors. So there are all these ways that Donald Trump could either hurt or help Elon Musk, depending on what the relationship looks like.